Fox Memorial Premiership clash between the Northcote Reinforcement Northcote Tigers and the LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs. We're joined by Northcote's coach, Jeff Morton. Jeff, the first one, I guess, conditions are going to be a bit of a major today. Ball control at a premium.
Yeah, it will be. It's just been, getting out of your half, nice and simple, and getting to your kicks and then putting pressure from there. So, yeah.
Had a great win last week, obviously a big victory over Glenora. How much of a confidence boost was that to the squad?
Yeah, it is. It's a confidence boost. The biggest thing for them now is actually backing up. We've done it before. It's the second team in the top four we've knocked over. It's how we perform the following week that's important to us. So that's what we're focused on all week, and that's what we're trying to get right.
What are the key positives you want to, I guess, carry on from that Glenora performance? What were the kind of key positives that got you the result?
Our defence. Simple as that, mate. Our defence, our line speed was probably the best I've seen. I've been back in the club 6 years now. It's probably the best defensive performance I've seen the club put on for 6 years. So that's what we've got to keep going. The rest of it falls, comes off the back of it.
You've pulled off victories over both the defending premiers Papakura and also top four favourites Glenora. Have struggled a little bit more with the teams around you on the ladder. How important are these games against sides near you on the ladder?
You want to stay out of that relegation. That was our aim for the year, was to not even be thinking about it. Unfortunately, we're in that situation at the minute where we've got to be thinking about it. So, yeah, these games are very important as far as making sure that we knock them over with the games that we should be doing. Then we're not worried about it.
And I guess the side must take a lot of confidence from the fact that they know they can beat those best teams in the competition.
Yeah, as I said, they know they can play footy. I said it's a consistency has been our issue. Backing it up the next week. So that's our big focus for today.
The health of the squad today, of course, we are halfway through the season. Plenty of injuries around. How's your squad looking? Just run us through your injuries.
Yeah, we've got a prop. One of the Sue's out at the minute with a knee. We've got one of the young fellas over there getting fitness tested at the minute. Other than that, flus. Yeah. We're actually fairly healthy.
And of course, a special occasion here today as well. We are celebrating 40 years since the 1977 Auckland team completed the Grand Slam, beating Great Britain, Australia and France. Nice to have them down here as well today, and I believe one of your major sponsors, Dave Lepper, in that team as well.
He is. Yeah, Dave's been with us for a long, long time. He's been, been part of the club since well before then. So yeah, no, he's very important to us, and the boys know what he does for us, financially and moral support and all the rest of it. So it's good. And they said 77. I was alive then. It was good. They were 3 great games.
There you go. You heard it firsthand. Our final question for today: what gets the job done today against what's probably going to be a very physical Northcote Bulldogs?
Completing our sets and defending. That's it.
Yeah, and by Northcote Bulldogs, I do of course mean the Richmond Bulldogs. On behalf of the Auckland Rugby League, we'll now present you with your seed and match ball for today, Jeff. All the best.
Thank you very much.
So there we go. We have heard now from the coach of the Northcote Tigers. We are now going to bring Steve Buckingham in to have a quick chat. Of course, coach of the Richmond Bulldogs, his first year with the club. We're bringing him now. Steve, thanks for joining us. First of all, I guess the weather's probably the major one today. How big a factor is that going to be?
It can always be a factor, I guess. When you play wet weather football, it sort of makes games a lot closer. I guess we've sort of trained for it anyway. We sort of know what we have to do, and guys just have to put on the part.
In terms of the health of the squad, have you got a few injuries right now? I guess most teams by this point of the season are carrying a few.
Mate, we're actually pretty healthy at the moment for a change, which is good. We've got we don't have a big premier squad as it is, so it's good to have a little bit of competition back at training. So at the moment we're reasonably healthy. That's a good sign.
Come off a really gritty and tough victory over Te Aratu, which was crucial in terms of the positioning on the table. That must have been a bit of a morale booster for the team.
Yeah, definitely a morale booster. I mean, I don't think we played to our potential last week, and there's been quite a few games, well, just a couple of games where we haven't, but effort-wise, the guys are trying. It's just sort of execution of game plans that we're slowly getting better at, and we'll be looking to build on that through the second round.
I guess a feature for Richmond last year was, of course, that they got some early wins in the first round and didn't have to worry about relegation. How important is that to not have that weighing on your mind come the back end of the season?
Oh, it's important. We haven't spoken about it too much. I think for us, it's all about improving the way we play and our systems, and it's really changing the culture a little bit this year. And I think for us, if we do the things that we train and we plan, hopefully results take care of themselves and the whole relegation thing will be done and dusted.
For yourself, you come to Richmond after several years with Mount Albert. How are you enjoying life at the Bulldogs?
Yeah, it's different. Came here really looking for a challenge. I think I've been with a top club for quite a while now. I think we made 5 grand finals in 6 years or something like that. And I guess for me, just a challenge really. See what we can do with a club with some young Richmond boys. Most of our team is local Richmond boys. You know, ranging in age really from 17 to 22, with just a couple of young older guys thrown in the mix. So it's a challenge to try and get them where they are and start pushing towards top 4 sort of positions.
And away from today's game is obviously a special occasion with the 77 Auckland team getting back together. Nice to have some legends down here today, the likes of Mark Graham, but also a lot of influential Richmond players as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, it's great that we celebrate the history and these types of teams. I guess, you know, the generation that are playing now probably don't understand or realise the huge effort that it was back in those days. A lot of these guys probably haven't experienced the Carlisle Park, you know, sitting in the stands on a Sunday and playing footy on the hill as kids and all that sort of thing that we sort of did. And, you know, I vividly remember watching Kiwis play club level, you know, the Manukau Magpies and the Richmonds and Glenoras and all those sorts of teams back in the day. And I think it's really good that we're celebrating their success.
And just finally, what do you want to see from your team today and what gets the job done?
Oh, look, if we can play to our game plan and just, like for me, just improving. I think our effort's usually there, and I'm expecting our effort will be there today. I just want the boys to execute their game plan, and if we can do that, then we're in with the show.
Excellent. Now, on behalf of the Auckland Rugby League, we will hand you your Steeden match ball for today, Steve, and all the best to your team.
No worries. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
So there we go. We hear from the coach of the LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs. So good to hear from both coaches today. We did kind of highlight the weather. I guess it is going to be a fairly heavy factor in this one. The rain has just started to come down really heavily here again at Greyland Park, and I am now going to welcome in my colleague Troy Hardy into the commentary, fresh off taking team photos with the 1977 Auckland team. Troy, what a magnificent occasion to have the boys back.
Oh mate, if we could get any more romantic today, Corey, I tell you, I'd just about have a big box of tissues and cry. Ladies and gentlemen, if you aren't doing anything today, they have to come down to Greyland Park, and yes, while it's a little bit damp, let me tell you, the vibe inside the clubhouse is absolutely stellar. There are legends of the game, true legends of the game. We've been promoting all week. You know, come down, you'll be able to have some selfies with these guys from 1:30 on. The main game's going to be kicking off at 2:30, and you know, the club is certainly geared up for it. There's a lot of entertainment and there's a lot of activity happening down here. And as everyone knows, you know, in the background now we've got the Northcote reserves up against the Richmond Bulldogs. Now it's a little bit wet, and I've got notes from Richmond's chairman. We normally have the chairman's interview at this point, and I think, to be fair, Corey, he's over there rebelling with some of the boys that he played with and played alongside. So we've got a wee bit of a note here, and if we could, I think I'll get you to read it. How's that feel, Corey? I just throw you the ball, in you go.
There we go. Yeah,
right,
excellent.
so
And perhaps we will cut back to the reserve grade game we've got going on here and take a look at that while we read that out. It might be a little more entertaining to look at than myself and you talking here, Troy. But yeah, as you did mention, Troy, a magnificent day down here at Greyland Park. So do get down if you can and meet some of the legends. There's names here who are synonymous with New Zealand Rugby League, the likes of Mark Graham, Kurt Sorensen, Dennis Williams. So it is incredible to have these guys down here, and great that they have made it down here. So we do have a little mention from the Richmond Bulldogs chairman,
Yep.
which I am now going to run you through.
Thanks, Corey. That'd be good, because I'm struggling to read myself at this point.
And this is obviously the first one, an acknowledgement of the Richmond sponsors, LJ Hooker, who are supporting the club here. So we do thank LJ Hooker for their support, and also a number of other sponsors who we will highlight throughout the match. So thank you very much to those supporting the Richmond Bulldogs. Of course, a big part of the Richmond Bulldogs is their academy, Troy. They do have a really successful academy, which is a proven record of bringing players through into the top flights. They do a lot of good work here down at the club as well with homework centres and things like that. So a massive part of what makes this club, you know, I guess what it is the stuff they do off the field as much as on it.
Absolutely, they're integral to the the local community down here, and they've been doing a lot of good work with the kids and the after-school program. And as also they've got a oh, here comes play just in front of us. And it's just like being at Carlisle Park again, Corey. You can reach out and you can hear the conversation go, oh, he's getting invited to the barbecue. No, referee says no barbecue today, play on. In regards to the work that they do down here, and they have a very strong rugby league academy for their teenagers and their youth coming through the system here, mate.
And just a little bit more about the Richmond Rovers Academy. It's run by a team of dedicated volunteers from Richmond, and of course these people not paid, they work normal jobs and then come down and give their time, so a big up to those people. It's usually 3 sessions a week from November to February, and it's a very important part of the off-season program. Centres around sessions on nutrition, life skills and academic goal setting, and isn't that huge, you know, making sure that even if you do make it big in footy, if you are one of the lucky few percent that you do look after life after footy as well. So an excellent pathway for the juniors to the top side, and of course a lot of Richmond juniors playing all across Auckland and Australia as well, so great work from the club there. And in terms of the homework centre, a big one here, it was set up 3 years ago and sponsored kindly by Peter Fell, again run by volunteers. It's open to all teenagers for an hour or so before trainings during the season. They give the kids a healthy snack, do some homework before training so they have more time for family after training and don't miss out on schoolwork. So excellent social responsibility from the club, so once again a big ups to them for all the work they do there and some of the stuff they're doing off the field as well. So
all good.
As we cut back to the reserve grade game, Troy, it's a real slogfest, and I dare say a bit of a preview for what we're going to see later on this afternoon.
Absolutely, mate. And if you've just joined us from around the world or around Auckland, welcome into the Auckland Rugby League live streaming, brought to you by CTAS, our live stream partners. SAS Sports Apparel is the major sponsor for the Fox Memorial, and also want to do a big shout out to our friends at Crown Lift Trucks who look after the Sharman Cup. And Corey's back into the frame. Good to see.
There you go.
So it's
always
a little bit
good when the cameraman cuts back to you without warning.
There you go. There you go. So she's a little bit damp underfoot, and that's only because it's been raining out here now for the last probably 2 or 3 days during the course of the week. Here down at Richmond, it's going to be a heavy field. I think from there goes full time with the reserves, and Richmond's hands are in the air, so they're going to be happy with that. Talking to the coaches earlier on, I dare say they're going to be trying to contain it in the forwards, be safe with it and earn the right to go to the edges, Corey. So I think, they'll be in for a wee bit of a tussle, and, looking forward to today's game.
Absolutely, and obviously both of these two teams coming off victories last week, and they were big victories as well for Northcote. One of the upsets of the season, they beat Glenora 30 points to 4. A victory built off defence, according to their coach Jeff Morton, and of course they did have Sam Cook back from the Vodafone Warriors New South Wales Cup side, which is a big help, a really experienced player to lead them around the park. Of course he's played under 20 level, New South Wales Cup level, and spent a bit of time over in Newcastle as well. So they had a big victory, 30 points to 4 over Glenora, as we mentioned. Richmond as well, a big one of their own, especially considering where they are on the ladder, Troy. I think those wins against the teams kind of directly above you or behind you are so vital at this time of the year. So they downed the Te Arotu Roosters 18 points to 15 in a really gritty affair out at Jack Colvin Park, where of course we were streaming earlier in the year at the Aquatechnic Stadium, as you like to call it.
And just on that one, it was a very tough win. I spoke to the guys from Richmond during the week before we came down here, and and that game wasn't something that was decided with 20 minutes to go. That came down to the last 4 minutes of play, and Richmond certainly got that one across the line. So they secured the 2 points there, get the W, and maintain their position on the ladder.
And in the third game of the round, we had the big Central Auckland derby, I guess, between the Mount Albert Lions and the Marist Saints. Always a good game, and again, this one, a really close encounter with Mount Albert running away with it in the end, 22 points to 10. I think Marist with a few injury worries out there, having a bit of a dip in form, but Marist are always a team that's going to be around there towards that top 4 come business time in the competition.
Just need to cut in here to all the Mount Albert Lion fans, all the Mount Albert supporters, and team past players. Marcus Powesi, big condolences to the family and to all the rugby league family, that will miss Marcus. He was had the heart of a lion, excuse the pun. He was laid to rest yesterday, and they had the big service, and I think they're going taking the body out to the cemetery today, if not already done so. So big love to Marcus, the extended family, and commiserations for everyone involved around that circle of love there. So big shout out to Marcus.
Yeah, absolutely, and our thoughts with everyone involved with the club and the wider rugby league community there. The fourth game of the round last week, well, it was our streamed game, and an excellent game it was, with the Point Chevalier Pirates getting up 32-20 over the Papakura Seagulls in the grand final rematch. Troy, really good game. Papakura kind of threatened to come back in that second half, didn't they? But in the end, Point Chev's class just showed through.
Yeah, I think, allowing a team like Point Chev, and the week prior with Howard getting 3 tries out in front, and they did a lot of the damage out there on that left edge. you can't really afford to give teams at the top of the ladder a three try start and then try to grind that back out. Papakura and saying that though, big ups to them. They came out strong in the second half and they did a lot of work. They started to contest it, but I think the scoreboard at the end of the day was against them along with the time clock.
And in the final game of the round, the Howick Hornets are absolutely on fire right now. They've recorded another big victory, 42-14. Now, Troy, we got a halftime update from this one, and from memory, it was pretty close at halftime, but obviously just the class of Howick coming through in the end there, and we're able to overrun them late. Of course, Mangere East themselves have been enjoying a bit of a resurgence on the ladder as well. A couple of wins back under, former coach and now current coach Matt Pilner, with Rob Nathan having to step down due to work commitments. So good to see a bit of life in the Hawks, and I tell you what, the battle at the bottom of the ladder is just about as exciting as the one at the top right now. It's fantastic to see action at both ends of the ladder. And speaking of the ladder, we'll now cut to the latest ladder for the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership, and this is after 11 rounds.
And as we've gone to the ladder, please, the team names have come up. We're working a storm up here with our switching gear and our cameramen, and just bear with us. And if you've just joined us, welcome in. It's a little bit damp down here at Greyland Park. We're getting ready for the arrival of the main game, being Richmond up against the Northcote Tigers. And sorry, Corey, just back to you as we talk about the SAS Fox ladder.
That's right, and on top, it's a familiar face in the Point Chevalier Pirates. They're 2 points clear on 18 points. They're followed by the Howick Hornets, who we mentioned are absolutely on fire this year under Sean Clark. They're sitting on 16 points. Bit of a log jam at that point. In third position is Mount Albert on 16 and Glenora on 14. And then back in fifth position, the defending premiers, a team that most probably expected to be a little higher at this point of the year, but still with plenty of time to do it, the Papakura Sea Eagles. They're followed by one of today's teams, the Richmond Bulldogs, on 8 points, followed by Marist, Northcote, Mangere East and Te Aratu. And of course the key one there being that Northcote currently sit 2 points out of that relegation zone, and for Richmond they're a little more comfortable sitting 5 points clear of that relegation zone. So there is your ladder, and we're very quickly going to run you through the other clashes today in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership before we take a look at the two teams who will take the field today for the Northcote Reinforcement Northcote Tigers and the LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs. So looking at the round 11 clashes today, and I dare say it'll be a wet round all across Auckland.
Absolutely.
A big clash between the Mount Albert Lions and Howick Hornets. Now that one's an interesting one. Howick with a real history of upsetting Mount Albert in these ones. They are a bogey team, I guess, if you want to call them that. So that's on at Felds Park, kicking off at 2:30 p.m. Of course, all these games kicking off at 2:30 today if you are able to get down to your local ground. We've got today's match here at Greyland Park between Richmond Bulldogs and Northcote Tigers. Out at Jack Colvin, it's the Te Aratu Roosters versus Point Chevalier Pirates. A bit of a local derby there. A big game for the Roosters. They can really jump out of that immediate relegation zone with a victory in that one. Out at Murray Halberg in Central Auckland, the Marist Saints take on the Glenora Premiers. Two teams there who are tipped to be on the verge of that top four come the end of the year, so another big one there. And Papakura, in the final game of the round, will host the Mangere East Hawks out at Prince Edward Park, and that one's got a bit of history as well, a real history of player movements between those two clubs, so plenty going on there as well, Troy. So lots to like about this weekend, and it obviously is wet all around Auckland, but if you can't get down to your local game, definitely recommend you do so. Troy, we've been to a number of games this year ourselves, and there's nothing quite like grassroots footy in Auckland.
Oh, absolutely. It's raw, it's mean. You get to see a lot of guys, throw a lot of energy into what they do down here. They train hard through the week. These guys also have to go to work too on Monday. So as far as probably the near on 250 guys that play, Fox football, they take it pretty seriously. Some of them have the opportunities to, to get into the NRL, whether it's via the Warriors or via a dream courtesy of Queensland or New South Wales. And then we've got guys who are probably coming to the end of their footy career and, still wanting to live the dream and playing Prem football. And, there's been a number of real good stories, Corey, that you know of in regards to, your reporting for some of the young guys that have gone up to NRL status or have come back down and trying to, play out, play back into form.
Yeah, that's right, and on a weekly basis, we have guys kind of coming up and down from the Warriors New South Wales Cup side, and also New South Wales Cup sides over in Australia and Queensland Cup sides as well. And of course, it's not just a pathway for players either. We see our referees progressing through really nicely as well, and do keep an eye out for the likes of Anthony Elliott on the sidelines in NRL games now as well. Of course, our coaching staff as well. We've seen Grant Pocklington come through, coached Point Chev to a number of Fox titles, and is now coaching the Vodafone Junior Warriors. So it's a great pathway into the NRL. And just actually speaking to a few people from Australia today, you know, they said they're really in awe of how strong the Auckland game is and what it offers to the world game in terms of playing talent, coaching talent, and of course match officials as well. So
awesome.
we are about now 11 minutes from kickoff in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership clash between the Northcote Tigers and the Richmond Bulldogs, and we will now run you through the two team lists today, and there are a couple of changes to what will appear on your screen. So starting with the home side, the LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs, and at the back it's the number 1, Samson Violetti. On the rings, Robert Malaysia and Tamuta Matura. In the centres, Onilangi Pongi is the 3, joined by 4, Mikey Williams. The 6, Jacob Tumu Makara, and he partners the number 7, Isaac Arkoi Atmore. In the front row, Leon Latour will wear the number 8. The 9 is Elliot Smith, 10, Darius Mafui. And in the back row, Shaquille Solomona, Kineti Arkoi Atmore, and the 13, Mateo Tumalor. And on the bench, the 14, the captain, Tala Tolisila, 15, Debaz Nemia, the 17 is August Yosua, and the 19, Leonard Pitello. So those are your 17 players for the LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs. We now take you through the Northcote reinforcement Northcote Tigers, starting at the back, the number 1, Morgan Timothy Cook. On the wings, it's number 2, Amor Tully, who joins number 5, Angus Beasley. In the centres, Manueli Vetinibua joins Cole Walker. The halves are number 6, Matt Phillips, and the 16, but he will be playing halfback, Eko Malu. The 8 in the front row is Eddie Figatoa, and the 9, Josiah Afu. Trent Romkel is the other prop, while in the back row is the 11 and the captain, Taylor Daniels, the 12, Fitiora Davis, and the 13, Xavier Rice. And on the bench for Northcote, Isaac Martini, Harrison Sutton, Nalu Tuigamala, and the 17, Benjamin McIntyre. So those are your two teams for today's round 11 SAS Fox Memorial Premiership clash, and we'll now throw to Troy, who's going to give you a little update to what else has been going on around the grounds.
Yeah, just in around the grounds, Northcote Tigers just wanted to give their sponsors a big shout out. The NRL North City Reinforcement Limited, there for all your steel reinforcement needs. John Pike is the director. He's a Tiger stalwart and has a lot of family history there with the Tigers. Also, they have an associate sponsor there, Novo Technical Services, which provides the complete engineering and project solutions for the Northcote Tigers over there. Throughout New Zealand, Australia, Graham Norton, General Manager, and other Tiger stalwart. There's a lot of people beaming in from around the world. And, and if you are joining us, please share or like on the Facebook site for the Auckland League. And also, you'll find a live link on www.aucklandleague.co.nz. So just whilst we go through that, we're going to talk a little bit also to the Richmond sponsors. They're key sponsors for the mighty Richmond Bulldogs. Down here, the main sponsors and the naming rights, and you'll hear us refer to that throughout the game. LJ Hookers, they're the guys that their team refers to, an LJ Hooker Richmond Premier Fox team. So that's what we've got there. Their other associated sponsors are Waterview Laundromat, Mickey B Fitness, and Grey Lynn Tavern. So if you're looking for a quiet green tea after today's match, that's the place to go to. Now, just before we get into a wee bit more SAS Fox detail, just a quick update around the Sharman Cup Crown Lift Trucks Premiership ladder. Otahu are at the top of the ladder at the moment there, Corey, and we saw them play not long ago. They've broken free. Ponsonby are hanging around in the second points on the table there. So the Ponsonby Ponies are doing very, very well this year in the championship round, followed by Otara in third, the Scorps. Bay Roskill Vikings are sitting around 4, so they've taken, there's the warning sign, ladies and gentlemen, tingling starts, we start to mount now, the tension's coming, it's almost excited, and I've just seen Grace walk by, and she's very happy to be here today as well. In 5th place, New Lynn Stags, 6, Papatoe Panthers, 7 is Manurewa Marlins, and they're doing it very, very tough this year, so a big shout out to Juanita, she'll be crying, and also the Ellerslie Eagles in 8th place. So that's what Sharman looks like, mate. We get down to the serious part of the business now, SAS Fox. Who you got your money on today, Corey?
Well, I think, you know, it's hard to tell who will have the upper hand in this one. Whoever's forward pack stands up is going to win this one, I think. It's not going to be a day for expansive football. So certainly it's, I think, going to be a real grinding encounter, a pretty tough encounter through the middle of the park. Looking at both forward packs, they've both got some real talent in there. You look at Richmond, who've got Leon Latour. He represented Auckland representative side last year. And then also for Northcote, Taylor Daniels, who's played for the New Zealand Māori residents, been one of the better back rowers in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership.
Yeah, he's been going well this season.
So that one's going to be crucial. And looking at, I guess, a key matchup today as well. For me, it's in the halves. Troy Eko Malu, the 23-year-old. He's played for Mangere East and Howick previously. Spent a bit of time in the Warriors system, I think, working with John Ackland there. So he's a key one for Northcote, and his opposite number, Isaac Arcoy Atmore. Now, of course, you'll recognise the famous last name, Arcoy, of course. Isaac being Fred's nephew and son of Liz, who is the team manager. So excellent to see that strong family connection down here at the Richmond Bulldogs. So Isaac's come through the College Rugby League system, of course, and you'll be able to catch some of our live-streamed games of the College Rugby League later in the year, Troy. I think we've got 3 back-to-back games coming up in August, as well as all the finals as well. So looking forward to seeing that. Always enjoy seeing the College Rugby League action. As just looking at our monitor there, we've got a little strip show going on with the Northcote boys, it looks like, Troy. A little
yeah, a little entertainment there for the girls, and you know, it's part of the marketing ploy to be part of the ARL, to come down here and join us on the live stream. As we said, it's coming courtesy via the ARL on the website, the aucklandleague.co.nz. Really not sure what our main cameraman's doing up there, but maybe you could throw back to us. And as you can see out there, the ground is a little bit damp here today, ladies and gentlemen. But one good thing, Corey, is the weather has stopped, and that's what all the viewers get to see now, our beautiful faces. And
it's quite a contrast, isn't it, from the Northcote boys getting dressed to our mugs. But hey, that's
there you go.
That's what you got to deal with.
So, yeah, she's a little bit damp underfoot. And if you've just joined us, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the SAS Fox big match day today. We've got Northcote up against Richmond Bulldogs, and we've just gone through the team list, or at least Corey has. And we're talking a little bit around the game. Corey, how do you think it's going to shape up, mate?
Yeah, well, as we mentioned earlier, the conditions really dictate the style of this one, and it will be a middle battle. So certainly going to be pretty interesting there. And I know that for both sides, their forward pack stood up last week as well. And, you know, we've highlighted the kind of key leaders in those areas for them. So looking forward to seeing that, but it's an absolutely crucial match in terms of avoiding relegation, of course, which is just as important as anything else. Richmond last year picked up a few wins in the opening rounds of the competition, and were able to kind of relax a little bit in that back half of the competition. And speaking to Steve Buckingham earlier, he said, you know, it's pretty important to get that out of the back of the mind. So a massive clash, and Northcote, of course, have got a funny habit this year of they've beaten a couple of the top teams. They've beaten the defending premiers, the Papakura Sea Eagles, and also Glenora last week, who are a top 4 favourite. But they've kind of struggled with the teams around them on the ladder. So talking to Taylor Daniels this week, he said, you know, for them it's just it's a motivation thing. You know, they're able to get up for those clashes against the teams they're not meant to beat, and perhaps just being a little bit complacent in these ones against teams around them on the table. So shapes as a fascinating match. Really looking forward to it, and we are now about 5 minutes away from kickoff here as the camera cuts to some of the legends from the 1977 team, Troy. And Troy, maybe you can just talk to us a little bit about just how special some of these players are, and I guess how incredible it's been for them to reconnect. For some of them, it's the first time in a couple of decades they've seen each other.
Absolutely. Look, and for some of these individuals, they actually haven't seen each other for for the 40 years. And just having a quick look on the screen as my eyesight's starting to go, you can see Crayfish there. There's Sharko. Crayfish being, of course, big, tall, lanky Gary standing next to Mark Graham. There's Dane O'Hara next to him. Look, we could go on and on and on all day. If you've got nothing on today, please come down and join us. There's the chairman of the club, Gus, shaking hands, and you know, there's the warning. There's the warning. The referee's on his way out there. Just bear with us a minute.
And I can confirm, ladies and gentlemen, we've got one of the best referees in the country. Shane Ream will be officiating this one. And Shane, one of those guys that's really progressed brilliantly through the Auckland Rugby League system. Of course, the Auckland Rugby League referee a few years ago. So great to have Shane in the middle of the park here. He's a referee who would be more than capable of footing it in the NRL system. Of course, he referees a little bit of the Holden Cup, the under-20 competition, and also the reserve grade competition, the New South Wales Cup. So great to have Shane in the middle of the park for us today. And of course, if you are interested in becoming a referee, all the details are on aucklandleague.co.nz. Do encourage you to get involved. It's a great way to remain involved in the game if you're not interested in being a player anymore, or being a spectator is not quite cutting it for you. So all that information on aucklandleague.co.nz. And we do salute all of our match officials taking part in games around the country today, and it's been a tough old day to be a match official coming out here in the rain, so we do thank them for their commitment to the game. And we are going to run you through the team lists one more time in a minute, so we will take you through the two teams who are going to take the field today as we see the Northcote reinforcement Northcote Tigers just going through their final preparations here. A huge game for both teams. Of course, they are right next to each other on the ladder. Northcote sitting on 5 competition points and Richmond on 8, just 2 positions up. So a massive clash for both of these teams, the LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs and the Northcote reinforcement Northcote Tigers. And the teams are shortly going to make their way onto the field, so we'll run you through the two teams as they will take the field, and there are a few changes to that which will appear on your screen with a couple of positional swaps and also some jersey swaps. So starting with the home side, the LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs, and at the back it's the number 1 Samson Violetti. On the wings, the 2 Robert Malicia and the 5 Tamuta Matura. In the centres, Onilangi Pongi joins Mikey Williams. In the halves, the 6, Jakim Tumu Makara. He's joined by the 7, Isaac Akoi Atmore, who of course we highlighted as a key player earlier in the match. The front row is 8, Leon Latour, 9, Elliot Smith, the 10, Darius Mafoy, and in the back row, the 11, Shaquille Solomona joins 12, Kineti Akoi Atmore, and locking the scrum is Mateo Timiloa. And on the bench, the captain, the 14, Tala Tuisila, Dabaz Nimia, August Yosua and Leonard Patello. So that is your LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs.
And just as Corey's finished reading out the team there, if we can get the final cut back to those 77 team from heaven. All those legends that are here today, fantastic opportunity. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. They're slowly strolling back in under the shelter there before we get ready for kickoff. Come down and meet the full squad. And that's a beautiful piece of grass as well. So we're at the Richmond Graylin Park getting ready now for kickoff. Northcote are out to the left-hand side of our screen. Richmond Bulldogs having their final warm-ups. We get ready for kickoff.
And if you are just joining us, we will just pull that team list up one last time to run you through the Northcote team. Of course, we got cut short a little bit there to just celebrate the 1977 team, so we will quickly run you through the Northcote reinforcement Northcote Tigers. And in the number 1, Morgan Timothy Cook. The 2, Amor Tully. The 5 is Angus Beasley. In the centres, Manueli Vetanubua. And the 3, Cole Waka. In the halves, 6, Matt Phillips is joined by 16, Eko Malu. The 8 is Egi Figatoa, joins Josiah Afu, the hooker. And the 10, Trent Shonkel. And in the back row, Taylor Daniels, Fitiora Davis and Xavier Rice. And we are underway here in this SAS Fox Memorial Premiership clash between the Richmond Bulldogs and Northcote Tigers. Round 11 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership now into the second round of this competition. And if you're just joining us, it is a very wet Graylin Park. The rain has stopped for the time being, but certainly going to have an effect on this one.
So the North City Reinforcement Tigers are grinding it out inside their half. And Richmond's trying to keep a very tight defence line, and they're sponsored by LJ Hooker here today.
So we see the first penalty of the match, and Malu now is going to kick for touch. And it looks like we may have had a late jersey swap there with Malu, in fact, wearing the 7. I did actually run into Echo in the sheds, and he was a little concerned, Troy, as to why he was wearing the 16 rather than the 7. He was worried he'd been benched.
I think it might have something to do with the size of jerseys, or maybe one of the kits been ripped during the course of the first round of the SAS Fox Memorial.
So Northcote now up onto the attack. The North City reinforcement. Northcote Tigers now with the first chance. They miss out Rice. Go back door now where Daniels is onto the ball, and he's a strong ball carrier. Great leg drive from Daniels, inches them in towards about 10 metres out from the line. Timothy Cook into dummy half. Spreads wide. Phillips handles. One more to Figitoa, who centres play up towards the middle of the sticks. You got Malu set out to the right now. Xavier Rice directing a little bit of traffic now, looming up in support. Not used on that occasion was Schwamkel, deciding to take the ball up towards the post. They're not far off the line now. Phillips with a little step kick in, and that's a clever play there from Matt Phillips. Taylor Daniels with an appeal for the try. Play on is the call, so a near thing there for Richmond, with Northcote getting the ball over the line. Perhaps a little fumble there from Taylor Daniels, or in fact just missed the ball completely, but smart play from the standoff Troy, Matt Phillips, to just put a little bit of
Defuse it.
footwork on there and put the kick through. So positive signs early for the Northcote Tigers. But Richmond equally will take a lot of confidence out of surviving that one. Of course, a penalty on the opening set. Not the ideal start for Steve Buckingham's side.
They'll want to be very tidy on this set, the LJ Hookers Bulldogs. A lot of energy out there, good communication. They're shifting it to the left. You look to go inside, he's moved to the side, outside again. Big settle. Lots of finger pointing, lots of communication. Back to you, Corey.
Yeah, nice early touches there from Arkoi Atmore. As they go up over halfway, so good yardage on offer early here for the LJ Hooker Bulldogs. They come out towards the left now, and Arkoi Atmore puts a high one, and none of these are going to be easy today in these conditions, but fielded well in the end by Timothy Cook at the back. And so a good start for both sides, plenty of positives to come out of it early on. Big shout out to the team down here at the Richmond Rovers Club. Fantastic day they have put on here today. Great to see lots of games on, lots of people down here. The canteen was buzzing. A big shout out to all the volunteers who make this place tick. The Tigers now work it up to the middle of this set. And Smith involved in the tackle there for the Bulldogs. A kick out of dummy half there by Afu. The 19-year-old dummy half fielded well though by Violetti.
As you can see, line side there, looks like Kurt Sorensen looking on as the LJ Hookers Bulldogs back into settling it out of the ruck.
Troy, we should have organised a Kurt cam for you. Perhaps we could have had an alternative button on the remote there where people could have switched to the Kurt Sorensen cam. You're a big fan of the guy.
Oh, mate, I don't think Kurt would allow us to have a Kurt cam, especially, you know, in regards to, look, a lot of those footballers from those days, you know, in 77, you know, they'd probably be in jail for what they did back then and didn't have smartphones or tablets or texting or emails or, to be fair, anything to do with a smartphone. But anyway, back to the action. LJ Hookers, halfback for the Bulldogs, has put it up high down into the... oh, it's slipped.
And you see an early ploy there, clearly from the Bulldogs to kick high. And it's a good ploy on a day like this. Even if there isn't any more rain to come, the ball is going to be greasy the whole game. The field received a pretty good drenching all morning with on and off rain. Now good three-man tackle there from Richmond to force them back. So now we see what Northcote have got. This is a good defensive set so far from the Bulldogs.
North City reinforcement, Tigers, big run here on the edge. Great off ball, oh, he's bobbled it.
So some enterprising play there from Taylor Daniels. Nice little ball out the back. Fumbled on that occasion, but they did have the number advantage there. So Northcote prepared to chance their arm despite the conditions. On that occasion, the ball spilt by Vitini Abua.
And Corey, just as we're into the live stream here, brought to you by SAS for the Fox Memorial, our major sponsors. For sponsors for the Richmond Bulldogs, LJ Hookers are their main overall sponsors. Associated Waterview Laundromat, Mickey B Fitness and Grey Lynn Tavern.
So Richmond now with a good chance starting this set about 40 metres off their line. Smith into dummy half. Straightening play up a little bit. So they're set heavy to the left here. Instead they go right. Smith shifts. Finds Tumu Makara. And out wide in the corner there's an appeal for a try. Referee Shane Ream having a quick discussion. Points to the spot. So the LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs are on the board. The home side strike first. We did mention perhaps a little bit of a deception play there. They were pretty heavily set out towards the left. They went to the right. And in the end, just found a numbers advantage. It was a nice ball from Jacob Tumu Makara. And they go over in the corner. So a great start for the home side there. Troy, Steve Buckingham will be happy with that one. They had to survive a little bit of defensive pressure early on in the piece. But they come out of it and score one of their own down in the corner.
So we had a wee bit of a glitch, and obviously it's been damp down here this morning. Our clock's not running at the game, so just disregard that, as We get ready for the kick to come by the LJ Hookers Richmond Bulldogs down here at their home ground of the Greylin, well, the fabulous Greylin Stadium. And, you know, to come down, and there's just so many vantage points to be able to come down and enjoy the game. And the sun's just starting to break through now, looking fantastic. Just as that kick gets lined up, a big shout out to the other sponsors for the Northcote Tigers. And kickers waved away. Contract Landscapes, Nackaville Khan Limited, they're civil structural engineers, Macintosh Concrete for all your concrete needs. These guys have got more sponsorships than I've got children there. Corey, Recreational Services, NZ Trade Group, Barfoot and Thompson, that's Anne Lepper, and I believe that's Dave's wife. Dave Lepper's here, one of the 77 legends. And we'll come back to the rest of that. North Harbour Ford and Mazda, Simon Lucas, thank you very much for supporting the Northcote Tigers and the SAS Fox Memorial as we get ready now for play to restart.
Are you out of breath, Troy? That was a fair list.
It was. And I haven't even got halfway through it, Corey.
This play gets back underway here. Smith hands it off, and great carry forward there. Leaves one on the ground. They're back to his feet now. So Richmond making their intentions clear off the kick return. And that was a huge carry there on that occasion from Mafoi. 21-year-old, he's been with the Richmond side since under sixes. Like so many of this Richmond squad, of course, Richmond juniors who have been with the club pretty much their whole rugby league lives. So fantastic to see them sticking around at home to play their footy. Now's a nice little ball back on the inside from Tumu Makara, and they're into the clear. Good scramble in the end by Northcote, but Richmond showing plenty in attack so far. Now they come back towards the middle of the park. Smith with hands on the ball again. Finds Timmy Law. Arkoi Atmore now. Dummies. Dribbles a little kick through. It's a good kick if the chase is onto it. It is. And it looks like Richmond are in again. Shaquille Solomona off an excellent kick from Isaac Arkoi Atmore there. Just summed play up beautifully. And they had the advantage in numbers. Good chase from Solomona to score. So Richmond on fire so far. It all started with that first carry of the set from Darius Mafoi, and left one on the ground, and from there they were able to get quick play the balls and march downfield, and a classy finish to the set from young Arkoi Atmore there to finish it. So Northcote with a few questions in the end goal, no doubt, as Jacob Tumu Makara is going to attempt this conversion.
Yeah, he showed a lot of class with that try there, Corey. You know, he sort of dummied, faked, and then went for the little grubber kick through and put just enough weight on it for it to sit up inside the end goal, and the LJ Hookers Bulldogs support play proved, you know, successful as they went through and put points on the board. As the young standoff's getting ready now for a kick to come, he should make a meal of this. He's on his right side. Should be fairly natural to put this through the uprights that are sponsored by SAS Sportsing Apparel. Piece of cake.
And Troy, I could have sworn that was going to be the commentator's curse there, but he has survived the Troy Hardy commentator's curse. And Richmond extend their lead. So it is the LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs 10 and the North City Reinforcement Northcote Tigers 0 at this stage of the game. We've got about 13 minutes gone. Of course, our clock may be a little out on the match manager's clock, but we will do our best to bring you regular time updates, but it will be there or thereabouts as Northcote get us back underway. Let's see what the first carry is like here from Richmond, and it's an awkward one which Smith does well to pick up in the end. Mafoi was looming in support, looking for the hit up, and here he comes, the big fella. He's been excellent so far, and again takes 4 with him, leaves 1 on the ground, wants that quick play the ball, but well slowed down in a tackle involving Josiah Afu. So good meters on the offering early here for Richmond. And their pack already starting to come in and establish a real dominance led by Darius Mafoi.
Great run. Here they come again.
Arkoi Atmore now turns Solomona back in on the inside. Of course, Isaac's got his brother in the team as well. Kaniti Arkoi Atmore playing out on the opposite edge. They've Isaac stationed out here on the left, and Kaniti out on the right as the bouncing ball awkwardly picked up there by Northcote, but referee Shane Ream says play on. And we'll go back and play it from the spot. Just trying to steal a few metres there, Troy. Perhaps a few too many on that occasion, and Shane Ream up to task.
Yeah, the thing I noticed on that play, Corey, is Isaac seems to have a wee bit of time on the ball. You know, he's not flustered, and I think the forwards are laying the foundation for that. And I think young Isaac Arkoi giving time on the ball is going to be, you know, steering his team around the park very, very well. He's got an arsenal of kicks on at the moment, and they seem to be finding space.
And we saw how influential he was for Mount Albert Grammar in the games we called a few years ago, Troy. Of course, they had some epic clashes against the likes of Kelston Boys High School, so great to see Isaac progressing through that college rugby league system. Of course, Isaac, one of the real leaders at that school, now off at university doing really well also. So now as we cut back to the play, and they keep it
Great
alive
pass.
here, Northcote, and they've got the numbers if they can get there. Richmond scramble well. Ball out the back again, it is recovered by Solomona.
They diffused the bomb there, diffused the situation there. North City Reinforcement Tigers.
And the penalty
Are
was
asking the
compounding
question.
error there. So Richmond now to be given a leg up out of territory, but it was enterprising play down the left involving Vetini Abua, who has been heavily involved so far down that side of the field, and also Matt Phillips out here on this right edge, which is where Northcote have preferred to go in the couple of attacking opportunities they have had.
And there
so
goes
far
the
in this game.
SAS Steedon football into the neighbours, which will now be on Trade Me, being sold to all of my friends around the world. Okay, here comes Richmond now.
Smith gets us back underway. And interesting to see, once the big boys get involved in this one, the big props is Mafoi now with another carry forward.
He's a big, strong lad, that guy, Kilry.
Good first up contact though from Taylor Daniels. Smith shifts back towards the middle of the park. I think that is the 8, Leon Latour. It is indeed. Out towards the right edge here, Tumu Makara. That has been their favoured spot so far, coming out of yardage at least, the right edge, and of course scored a try down each flank so far. Fitiora Davis that time involved in the tackle for Northcote. They're calling for it out here on the left. Arkoy Atmore's got the ball, goes to the sky again, and big pressure on Timothy Cook at the back here. It goes out to the wing, safely fielded in the end. So nice work there as he puts a little bit of footwork on, goes very close to the sideline. So let's see what Northcote have got. They need to keep the ball here, and they need their forward pack to stand up. Richmond very early in this one starting to gain the ascendancy in the arm wrestle, you feel, Troy?
Yeah, they need to complete their sets, and you know, Northcote's starting to grind it out inside their half. It'll be interesting to see what their kick looks like at the back end of this set of 6. If you've got nothing on this weekend and you're looking for something to do, come down and join us. There's a fabulous weekend down here at Greyland Park. The Richmond Rovers, the home of the Bulldogs. The 1977 Auckland Rugby League team of stars are down here. Come and join us. The club is open, and enjoy the football. Be a fabulous weekend.
So Malu now with a nice long kick, finds some grass. That's a really good kick from Eko Malu. It may hold up, just going to drift dead. I think, no, it's going to hold up. So excellent kick there from Eko Malu, and the chase
Good
also
chase.
up to it from Northcote. So that's better there from the North City Reinforcement Tigers. Malu now involved in the defence, and you see that really aggressive line speed now from the Tigers.
LJ Hookers, Richmond Bulldogs, big boys battering it into the D-line now, looking for the next heavy runner to come up and get the settle on. No, they've gone to the...
Yeah, the early kick, not a
to
bad
straight.
option there. Finds a little bit of space, confusion at the back between Timothy Cook and Angus Beasley. Cleaned up in the end, but they're going to start this set on halfway. Timothy Cook now into dummy half.
If you've just joined us, the LJ Hookies playing hooky in the wind. The Richmond Bulldogs are out to 10 points to 0 against the Northcote Tigers. We're live coming to you from Greyland Park. Come down and join us, and as I've said that, there's been a wee bit of a bobble, and the referee calls it. To all the volunteers that helped make it happen today down at Richmond Rovers, we thank you very much, and to our match managers, and also to Ale Ta'atau Anderson from Papua New Guinea, who's worked tirelessly over the last 48 hours helping with the Auckland 1977 Dream Team that are down here today.
So Scrum will pack down now about 40 metres off the Richmond line and put that mistake down to Richmond's line speed. Been urged on from the vocal support down at the clubroom side of the field. Good to see a good turnout despite the rather unfavourable conditions, though it has dried up nicely here now. They come up around halfway now out of dummy half. Nice little carry there, and they shift it wide. Some fancy footwork there from Matura. Smith into dummy half.
And they're working each side of the ruck, aren't they, Corey? They've got some big boys there just plugging it away.
Leon Latour there with another good carry. Smith into dummy half. They've got a quick play the ball here. What can they do with a big contact there led by Taylor Daniels, and I think it was Xavier Rice over the top. And it's shaken Solomona up a little bit now as Mafoi comes out towards the left edge. Carries 3 with him once again. He's deadly on the ball, this guy, causing chaos out there for Northcote. Akoi Atmore now floats a little kick through. It's claimed but spilt.
They got out of jail card on that one.
Yeah, perhaps a little fortunate there, Northcote. Troy, it looked like it may have spilt out. So Northcote retained possession.
Excuse me.
You see there that defensive workload that they have had to carry is starting to take a little bit of a toll on the Tigers. The backs getting involved in the yardage set, as we so often see these days. Of course, you only have to look at the Warriors, where Ken Momalo is one of the leading carriers in the NRL from the wing. Had an excellent game last night, running for almost 200 metres again. And we have another error coming out of yardage from Northcote, and they're shooting themselves in the foot as it stands.
Yeah, Mr. Morton won't be happy with that. He'll be pulling out his hair.
He highlighted defence as a key area earlier before the match, Troy, but it's hard to defend well when you don't have the ball. Very taxing on the body, so they won't be happy with their completions so far, Northcote, particularly where the errors are coming out of yardage, kind of 30 metres off your line. Those are coach killers. Well,
at this point in the game, Corey, you know, the Northcote Tigers are certainly going to need some North City reinforcement steel to get in their defence line to keep the Richmond roll on. These boys are getting a wee bit of momentum here, and as they move to the right edge now, a bit of a bobble. He's secured it, and now we're into the wrestle and the tackle.
So if you are just joining us, this is an SAS Fox Memorial Premiership Round 11 clash. And speaking of clashes, a big one there in the middle of the park. Latour taking the ball forward. Scrappy ball out the back, which was claimed well by Tumu Makara, who's having a really good game so far. Watch his footwork at the line. Smith now into dummy half. And there's plenty of talk from Richmond. They've got plenty of energy, and so they should. Xavier Rice there leading with a good tackle. Plenty of battling going on in the play, the ball there. And we've got drama here, Troy, because I think Xavier Rice has gone past and given a little hello to one of the Northcote players there. Shane Ream is going to call them out and have a chat.
Looks like everyone's going to get an invite to the barbecue. And someone's disappointed that they didn't get their meat pack in on time. So as we go for a little break there in the call, brought to you by CTAS, our live stream partners. The referee's certainly laying down the law. They've had a discussion about it. And at this point in time in the game, Corey, it looks like it's all going Richmond's way down here. You know, they had good territory, and their energy, their communication, they've certainly, you know, putting the Northcote Tigers under the pump. Yeah, and the energy, a real factor for them so far. Plenty of talk going on, isn't there, from Richmond? Yeah, I'm liking Isaac. He's got a lot of time behind this big forward pack, and he's just non-stop talking to the boys. He's got some, you know, great arsenal of kicks that have been coming out, and it's just keeping the Northcote Tigers guessing. They're not sure what's going to be happening next, you know, and I think we're going to see more of that as the game unfolds today. Big crowd too here today, Corey, you know, regardless of the weather. Yeah, absolutely. Great to see the Richmond faithful out in numbers. So Northcote at the end of that received a penalty kick for touch. So really need to complete this set, Troy. It doesn't need to be a point scoring set, but they need to complete, get a good kick down. We've seen that Ekomalu has got a good kick on him, so up to the pack now to lay a good platform. Ball handling needs to be the focus. Shane Ream says we'll have time off, please. It's getting a little bit untidy now, isn't it? Yeah, and he's calling a couple of boys out there. Whitiora Davis, I think, just being calmed down by his teammates. Of course, it's an emotional game, rugby league, and occasionally can spill over, so Shane Ream there taking the sensible step to just call a halt to things and just calm everything down. And a big thank you to Gus and all of his committee, their team, their volunteers today at the Richmond Rovers, who hosted the 1977 Dream Team. All the stars of that side, you know, the legends of that team are very, very pleased today. They've been fed, they've been watered, they're enjoying green tea, and you know, down here watching the live stream being brought to you by the Auckland Rugby League. So it looks like the conversations are finished now in the field with the linesman and referee as we start to resume play.
And we've had a sin binning, Troy,
Oh, really?
the number 4. So unbeknown to us in the background, Mikey Williams has been sent to the sin bin. And unfortunately, obviously, we don't have the referee feed directly to us here, Troy, so we will try and confirm what that was for there. But he's sitting in the naughty seat as it stands, so for the next 10 minutes, Richmond will be down a player. You see Liz Arcoy go over and lend a jacket to him, so at least he's warm in the sin bin, I guess. But Mikey Williams, not too sure what's gone on there, but obviously a little bit of emotion did overflow a little bit there, so it's advantage Northcote in terms of the numbers on the field at the very least, and they've got a good set going here now, and really important that they make this period count. Malu shifts out towards the left. Waka
Good
tackled
D.
well. Malu directing traffic. Xavier Rice playing that second kind of playmaking role, which we saw Dylan Moses play really well last week as well. And great to see number 13s that can ball play as well. Bit of a dying art these days where the 13 is becoming more like a third prop now as they spread out towards the right. Taylor Daniels on the ball, good leg drive, stays up in the tackle, offloads. Numbers out here on the right, Tamori Cook steps, slips, still going. Just short of the line here, so a really positive set from the North City reinforcement. Tigers, Xavier Rice now shifts left, they've got numbers here, Malu.
Good pass.
Critical little touch in there, I think, maybe from Richmond, so I think we'll have a Northcote feed here. We'll wait for confirmation from referee Shane Ream. But they had the numbers there, Troy, just a little touch at the end there seemed to stop the ball from getting wide.
Excellence in execution. That's the only thing letting them down. They've built a wee bit of pressure up here, got a bit of momentum on as we get into the scrum. And again, it seems to be another bit of a conversation going on. No, we're getting ready to form.
So it is Northcote who have the feed.
And let's see what they can do with it, mate.
Feed this one about 10 metres out from the line. Waka coming infield. Gets a touch. Good two-man tackle there led by Arcoy Atmore. Taylor Daniels now coming out towards the right. Instead they go left. Fitiora Davis, I think it is, hit well. And a tackle led by Leon Latour. So it's one out stuff here from Northcote. Harrison Sutton, that time looks like he may have battled his way over. The ball's loose.
Yeah,
And
bobbled
it's
it.
going to be a knock-on. So great work from Richmond. Down to 12 men on the field, and they survived that one. And Troy, just physicality and defence in the end.
Right, yeah, and this is all going to be about effort on effort for the next 8 minutes, 9 minutes, whilst one of the Bulldogs is sitting in the, as you call it, the naughty chair. I dare say that, you know, if he is going to put the team under a wee bit of pressure, especially in this next 10 minutes, Bucky's not going to be holding back in regards to having the chat with that guy. Okay, let's see how we go again. We're resetting.
Did you
Scrum feed.
spend much time in the sin bin yourself, Troy, in your playing days, or were you well behaved?
No, I can't remember once being in the sin bin.
You just got sent off. Straight sent off usually.
Corey, please. My mother's listening to this live stream, and to all mothers around the world, welcome in. The live stream is brought to you by the Auckland Rugby League, courtesy of www.aucklandleague.co.nz. Share the link, make comments on our Facebook page, and make sure that you get all your friends, families, and all the league fans around the world to come and join us as we go live back to the LJ Hookers, Richmond Bulldogs, as they take a good run up there, Corey.
Yeah, Leon Latour again leading the way.
Big day for that young man.
From the front as they come out towards the left edge. Arcoy, Atmore, dummies and then straight-ins. And wrestled in the tackle there by Afu from Northcote.
Good kick at the end of it.
Nice return there from Morgan Tamoti Cook, who's having a good game in testing conditions so far.
Good leg drive there by the young Northcote player. Needs to get past, play the ball.
And Troy, we have mentioned Leon Latour a couple of times in the call, and our thoughts do go out to the Latour family. Of course, the loss of Leon's father last week as well, so a sad week for Auckland Rugby League with the passing of a couple of integral members of our community, so our thoughts do go to the Latour family, the Richmond Club and the wider Rugby League community, family and friends for their very sad loss. But great to see Leon out here playing today, and of course his brother played in the earlier match as well, so very brave effort from those boys to play today, and we wish the family all the very best. As Northcote now enter attacking territory, Xavier Rice turns the ball back on the inside to Harrison Sutton. They're not far off the line here. Malu with hands on the ball. Out back door it goes, and there's numbers here if they can execute. Taylor Daniels turns back inside to Morty Cook. He's going to go close. He's going to go all the way. Morgan Tamoti Cook is over the line and put it down to the work there of Taylor Daniels. Got the ball. Northcote were expecting the big carry, and of course he is that big that you have to watch for the carry, but just turns the ball back onto the inside there.
Great work.
Excellent anticipation from Tamoti Cook. So that's a nice try there for the North City reinforcement Northcote Tigers, and they hit back at their first points of the game. Of course, they've got the numerical advantage currently on the field with Mikey Williams in the sin bin, and looking over, he's cutting a bit of a lonely figure in the sin bin right now, and he'll be back on the field in about 5 minutes' time. But Troy, Northcote did what they had to do there, just made the use of the extra numbers out wide.
Absolutely, and you know, it's really important when you've got an extra player that you convert that to points, and Northcote has certainly done that. Just as they're getting ready for the kick to come, the last part of the half list that the Northcote Tigers family have given me is Novo Technical Services, Play on Physiotherapy, Coro Builders, Barfoot and Thompson, we've already gone to Macintosh Concrete, Pulse Networks, Russ Barnett Builders, NZ Trade Group, Birkenhead Transport, Pack Trans, for the Northcote support team out there for the wonderful Northcote Tigers who have come over the Harbour Bridge today. And it looks like we've got a, is that Taylor Daniels getting ready to strike the ball?
Yeah, Daniels going to attempt the conversion from just to the right of the sticks. Not the most difficult of kicks, although with the slippery ground, of course, that adds something else to worry about for the kickers today. Strikes it and pushes it to the left, so it will remain the LJ Hooker Richmond Bulldogs 10 and the North City Reinforcement Northcote Tigers 4. But a positive reply from Northcote. Coach Jeff Morton will be happy with that. A pretty professional end to their set there. They knew they had the numerical advantage and they went wide, and in the end it was a couple of classy touches and some nice anticipation from Morgan Tamoti Cook, looming in support, and from there he was too big and powerful to stop. So,
and look at it, you've just have joined us. Commiserations to the Marcus Poesi family. We went to that at the start of the live stream, 2 o'clock today, and big love to Marcus Poesi and his extended family. Back to the live action as we're looking now as Northcote's Tigers are starting to grind it out from inside their half.
Another offload there from Daniels in the middle of the park. Make a couple of extra meters there for the Tigers. Tamoti Cook into dummy half. And a little juggle there, and one in the ribs for his troubles. And it was Trent Schronkel who had to juggle the ball a little bit there, just exposed the ribs, and he copped one for his troubles. Got up and let the bloke know that he wasn't too impressed with it, but an error coming out of yardage, really not what Northcote wanted at this point, coming off points. And Richmond are going to start this set about 40 metres off their line. Big shout out to the support staff from both teams who have been very helpful this week. Liz Arcoy involved with Richmond, and Bailey Morden involved with Northcote. So a big thank you to everyone for their cooperation and helping us to bring you this live SAS Fox Memorial Premiership action, brought to you by the Auckland Rugby League. Of course, we are bringing you Fox games all year. We brought you a couple of Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup games earlier in the year, as well as we see Northcote pinged now, and they're going to feel some real pressure here. They've still got the numerical advantage here, Northcote, but
Tap and go.
Back-to-back sets. Gifting to your opposition is not the best way to go about that, as we see some fresh legs onto the park here for Richmond. Space out wide. Pongi takes it forward.
Interesting to see there, Corey. They brought the fullback up into the attack line. As you know, they're down one player with the LJ Hookers Bulldogs teammate in the sin bin still.
And a little bobble there from Solomona. It was a really good looking set there from Richmond. They tested both edges and were coming back towards the middle, so disappointing finish there for them. That would have been huge if they were able to.
That would have been a big positive for them. Yeah, right with you on that one, Corey. You know, to get a try with one man down. So Northcote really need to steel up here, as are the sponsors for them, the North City Reinforcement Steel, and really sort of, you know, have strong D-line here when they are in the defence position. Now let's see what they can do with the ball as they get ready to feed the scrum. And let's see what they do with this set of 6.
So Williams is back to his feet in the sin bin, so not long now until he re-enters the game, and we're back to a full complement of 13 on 13 here at Greyland Park.
Big shout out to Charlie Varley. Shane Varley's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He's just rolled in to see some of his teammates too from the 1977 Dream Team. Ex-Richmond Rugby League player and New Zealand legend, along with an Auckland representative as well. So great to see Shane Varley down here today at the Richmond Rovers.
So penalty there for Northcote, a pressure relieving penalty, I'll add. Malu kicks for touch and they're wanting to speed things up here. As Daniels taps and goes. Centres play towards the middle of the park. Afu now into dummy half. The 19-year-old former East Coast Bays Barracudas player. Across at Northcote now playing Fox. Xavier Rice turns Harrison Sutton back inside. Tackled well and a hit led by Mateo Tumiloa. Afu appeals for a penalty, nothing forthcoming.
Good dummy.
Eko Malu, nice little dummy, some footwork and goes, and we have seen what Malu can do. We saw him in action at the SportSafe ARL9s a couple of years ago where he ripped teams up with that very footwork that he's had on display there. Nice little ball out towards the left edge, but an equally good defensive stand there from Richmond to deny it. Xavier Rice brings play back towards the middle. It's a scrappy pass. Daniels on the ball. Daniels turns back inside to his winger, the number 5, Angus Beasley. Beasley tackled. Last tackle now. Xavier Rice heads back towards the sticks. Phillips with the ball. Little kick's gone through. Phillips has hit the deck. And Richmond survived that one. So good defence there from the LJ Hookers. Richmond Bulldogs. Let's see what they got now coming out of yardage. They're definitely winning this arm wrestle as it stands.
Looks like the weather's just starting to turn a little bit now. The sun's dropped out behind cloud. Ground is slippery out there, Corey, as we've said earlier at the start of the game, as Richmond are back on the attack. And there's going to probably, be fair to say, cut up, be a little bit muddy, and they'll be fortunate around that because the Waterview laundromat will be able to clean their clothes for the Richmond Bulldogs.
That is one of the great all-time segues. You're on fire today, Troy Hardy. Spurred on, of course, by your good friends in the 1977 Auckland team who are down here watching the game today, and we had an excellent ceremony with them earlier today. We did a few interviews which are going to be up online on both the Auckland Rugby League and Carlaw Park Diehards Facebook pages, so really look forward to that, Troy. We had some great content there, some very funny boys in the 77 team.
Absolutely. Oh, he's bobbled that.
Yeah, gone backwards, I think, from Phillips, and Timothy Cook comes to the rescue and picks it up.
So the Northcote boys here, as you can see, are walking back into their frame. They're getting slow back into the position as they start to run it back out of their half.
Timothy Cook now coming into dummy half.
Taylor's getting through a mountain of work.
Heavily involved so far has the fullback Timothy Cook.
Can't be too much longer left on the clock for the boy in the bin. Bit sloppy there, hitting that left edge. And
yeah, back to a full 13 on 13 there, Troy, with Mikey Williams back on the field. So back to even Stevens in terms of the numbers, but definitely Richmond winning this arm wrestle. And again, there we see an unnecessary error really coming out of yardage.
For that 10-minute period, though, it did cost them a few points on the board. They managed to sneak in the one try, and I think all in all, they'll take a lot of positives out of that there weren't any more afforded. You can hear the call there, keep it simple, keep it simple.
So the scrum will pack down right on halfway. Akoi Atmore at first receiver, finds his centre on the carry. It's Onilangi Pongi, 26-year-old, works as a database consultant away from footy. He's come across from Takapuna Rugby, so welcome to the greatest game of all, Mr. Pongi. Good to have you here. He's made a pretty positive start to this game for the LJ Hookers Bulldogs. As we see a good carry forward there from the captain, Tala Tuisila. Come out towards this right edge, but there's a little forward pass there as Mikey Williams was fighting for a little bit of extra yardage. So mistake there from Richmond, and Troy, we're starting to see a few errors starting to creep in for both teams here as the end of the half approaches.
Yeah, I think they'll be looking forward to getting to the break. Northcote, once they've got the ball, they really need to complete their sets of 6. They've let Richmond off a couple of times when they've been down in this half, but I think, the first 30 minutes of this match, it's been Richmond's way so far, and we're back down into Tigers territory. And Richmond's got good energy still on the defence, and they'll be very, very happy with the 13th man just coming back into the team only moments ago.
Come out towards this
Taylor
right edge again. Taylor Daniels again getting that offload away. And Troy, there hasn't been too many hit-ups from him today where he hasn't managed to get the offload away. But there it is, an error. Just a little spill in the tackle, and I think it was the 14, Isaac Mateni, who spilt it. And Northcote
Lots
just
of
guilty once
conversations
again.
noticing there. I thought they were yelling at us, Corey, but they were talking to the linesman, thank Lord. And seems to be another... Yep.
If they were yelling at us, I wouldn't be here. I would have scooted long ago. So
I, however, would have gone out and said that... Sorry, were you talking to me? Referee, however, has just had another chat to the captain for the Northcote Tigers. They've settled whatever that remark was. The ball's being fed in, and here comes a Richmond, sponsored by LJ Hookers, with a good leg drive just off the right-hand side there.
Hit over the top on Mikey Williams. A couple of St. Paul's teammates from years gone by now out of dummy half. Leonard Patello has broken. Good scramble there, but they get the offload away. If they can get a quick play of the ball here, they've got a numbers advantage out towards the left. Instead, Mikey Williams darts, and that may have been a bit of a missed opportunity there to spread it. Northcote have no one out here on this left edge. And now Richmond are awake to it. It may be too late, though, as Arkoy Atmore goes out the back door. There's still a numbers advantage here if they can get the ball out there. Violetti hands the ball out. Very close thing there, but Northcote scramble in time.
Did well enough to stay in there because of the slipperiness of the ground. Well, he dummied that and even fooled the cameraman. He had to come back as well. Yeah,
good read there from Morgan Tamosi Cook at the back. As you mentioned, Troy plays so good. It did fool our cameraman for a split second there. As Northcote work it out a yardage, and we're entering the final stages of this first half. Any minute now we're going to hear the hooter. And Richmond looks set to carry a 10-4 lead into the break unless Northcote can come up with something miraculous. On this tackle here, on this set here I should say, Isaac Mateni carrying out a yardage. Little second effort in the play of the ball there. Xavier Rice feeds the ball back towards the middle of the park. Of course, Xavier teammates with Mikey Williams is on the opposition side today. Teammates from St. Paul's in the College Rugby League. As Northcote break, they've got the numbers here if they can get it out there. It's a more Tully out on the left flank. He's got some pace, pulled down eventually. Richmond get there in numbers. And there's been a spill, I think.
Shame.
But Troy, that was good play there from Northcote to spread it out towards the left there. They found a bit of numbers advantage. Tully had a bit of pace. He was a...
What's happened there? Just pulled them back?
I think just playing off the mark there. But Tully was a very, very late kind of decision in this game. Even at the point where we were interviewing Coach Jeff Morton, Troy, Tully was doing a fitness test out the back on the field. So he's obviously pulled through, battling a little bit of sickness, I think, there.
Well, I'm sure the Northcote boys will be pleased that he's in the side. Let's see what Richmond does on this set. Getting their arms free, they're looking for offloads. You know, they're always looking to, you know, keep the momentum carrying forward. Here come the big boppers. Oh. It was a little bit untidy, that. Fortunate, though, for the Richmond Bulldogs. They managed to retain the football as they kick now off to our left.
Tully's going to field it.
And if you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, the stop clock for us, the time clock for the first half is indicative, as we had a wee bit of an issue as we started the first part of this round. Great run there by the Northcote Tigers.
Coming up towards halfway here. It's the first half where Richmond have dominated proceedings to some degree, but Northcote have played some really good footy as well, so plenty of positive signs for them now as Harrison Sutton takes this ball forward.
Taylor's had a good first half too, Corey. He's got through a lot of work. And
As the siren goes in the background, so at half-time, the LJ Hookers, Richmond Bulldogs 10, the North City Reinforcement Northcote Tigers 4 in round 11 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership here at Greyland Park in central Auckland.
okay, as we go to the half-time break here, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to work a wee bit of freestyle as we can see the teams getting into their team huddles. And I'm hoping that you can hear that. That is the GM, General Manager of the Auckland Rugby League. If we can get our cameraman to get on to the man with the mic.
And of course we are going to have a little chat here with...
If we could get our cameraman to get on to the gentleman with the mic and the blue jacket off to the left-hand side there. It's panning to the left, panning. Bring it round.
And we are giving you a little bit of live producer talk here. There's a little added bonus of our live stream today in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership.
Right there, in front of you. There you go. There we go. We're in screen now. Hold there.
As our 1977 legends are called out, hopefully you're picking up that audio at home. There's ARL General Manager Greg Faipu addressing the crowd here and the 1977 team.
There's Neville Kesher there to the right. Big Stan. Big Stan Napper there in the dark jumper. Stan has a son called Dylan, and you may know who Dylan plays for.
State of Origin superstar Troy, and what a game he had on Wednesday night.
Yeah, that's all marketing ploy, mate, by the New South Wales Blues, as they wanted to go to a decider up there in Queensland and knock them over. There's Big Mark Graham. He's standing next to Kurt Sorensen, along with a number of others. There's young Olsen and the support coming up behind, and then obviously what a wonderful opportunity to be looking at the backs of all of the superstars. Oh, they're all going to turn around. That's Dave Sorensen next to Fred Arcoy. Fred Arcoy's pointing again. He's obviously directing the traffic, standing next to an absolute legend. There's Dennis Williams with Dane O'Hara, Gary Kemble. And there's Tale Tatao Anderson, and she's obviously directing them around to have a photo taken. Everyone's sort of coming in. And thank you so much if you've joined us, ladies and gentlemen, to the live stream here today as we witness the Auckland Rugby League 1977 Dream Team. Look at them all share, tag. You ain't going to get another opportunity. Corey wants to have a say, but no, we're not letting him.
No, I'm
Neville Kesher. There's Graham Coates. Look at Graham Coates, the trainer. He looks like he could train them again. And last night, ladies and gentlemen, these guys got honoured by the Warriors. They were brought out onto the field and they were told the instructions of going left, going right. And all the boys couldn't quite hear what they were telling them to do, so I just told them to go and get into kickoff formation and get ready and let's actually have a run against the Warriors. What a fabulous day for these guys down here. Come and join them. They're inside the bar now. There's big Lindsay Prockner saying, I'm getting the green teas in for everybody.
Stands out, big Lindsay.
Yeah, he does. He's a mountain of a man. And a personality to match.
Fearsome guy to run into on the rugby league field. And interesting, talking to a few of the boys, Troy, they highlighted Lindsay as a key guy through the Grand Slam, a guy that stood out in 3 games. But what a team it was. Some of the names in that team, of course, we've got the New Zealand Player of the Century, Mark Graham, led the way there, a real key guy who went on to forge a successful career with North Sydney in the then named Winfield Cup, I believe. There was other players like Fred Arcoy, Olsen Filipina, who of course went over to Australia, had some real success. Gary Kemble, the fullback, he was only about 19, 20 years old when that 1977 team took part in the Grand Slam. He credits those 3 victories for helping him launch a career in England with Hull FC. Of course, Gary had an excellent career. He's still regarded in Hull as a real legend of that club. Went on to coach the Kiwis about 10 years ago now. Now living back in Huntly and commuting to Auckland every day. Very happy with family life and kids and all of that. So great to see these legends come back now and share a bit of their current life with us. As we prepare to